Today I will be reacting to my Premier League predictions that I made at the start of the season before a ball had been kicked in the Premier League. And I think it's fair to say there's some awful predictions in here, so stay along for the video to find out the worst one of the lot. And at the end of the video, we'll be comparing, because we've been doing this now for our 6th year of predictions, so we've got a bit of data. Is this a good season, or is it absolutely dreadful? We'll find out. Go on to enjoy, drop a like and subscribe, let me know your best and worst predictions in the comment section down below. Let's get straight into it. In case you're unfamiliar, I'll quickly explain the scoring system we have going on. So if I predicted a team to finish 20th and they finished 20th, that's spot on, so you get 0. If I predicted them to finish 20th and they actually finished 19th, that's a difference of 1, so we accumulate 1 point. And we do this for every position and add it all up at the end, and you want the least possible number, means the better score, of course, and you're going to get a few correct predictions along the way. So we'll go through it now and see how bad our predictions were. Right, we begin with bottom of the league. Leicester City, I had them to finish rock bottom after Maresca left them for Chelsea. And in the end, not as bad a season as I thought it was going to be for the Foxes. In the end, they of course come down, but they ended up finishing in 18th. Jamie Vardy said farewell on his 500th appearance, scoring his 200th goal and remaining in the Premier League, potentially with a new club next season. But Leicester back down to the Championship. It was always going to be an uphill battle, but they actually did better than I predicted. In 19th, I predicted Ipswich. Who finished there? Ipswich Town. Let's go. Second one in, and we're already getting one correct prediction on the board. We love to see it. Ipswich were the best of the 3 promoted sides for a lot of the campaign, but they just, like Leicester, like Southampton, conceded so many late goals and conceded so many goals this season that they made it really challenging for themselves to stay up. So in the end, they go back down to the Championship as well. Looking forward to seeing them once again under hopefully McKenna if he stays next season in the Championship. But for this one, very good prediction, spot on. In 18th, I put Southampton to be the best of the 3 promoted clubs, and they were far from that. They finished bottom of the league. Russell Martin ended up getting sacked around Christmas time, and then they had a few other managers, Urich of course, taken over at one point for a few games. And the main thing for Southampton was that they didn't break the record for the lowest points tally in Premier League history. They got more than 11, and that's the main thing for Southampton. Back to the Championship for them, where they'll have Will Still next season. Very interested to see how he gets on, because such a big name in the football world as recent. So see if he lives up to it in the Championship. Into 17th, this is the first of a really bad prediction. I had Nottingham Forest to finish there, and Forest were second, were third for majority of the season, and in the last few weeks when everyone else needed points, Forest started dropping them and they ended up finishing 7th in the end. European football at the City Ground next season, which is great to see, but not the European football that they wanted really. Should have been Champions League, and they missed out unfortunately. Forest 10 places out on this one. Not great, but at the start of the season, after last year, I don't think many people had Forest that high in the table, because, of course, apart from Nuno, hadn't had a great track record in recent years since his Wolves days. Of course, at Spurs, he underachieved as well. But the signs they made, the likes of Anderson keeping hold of Morgan Gibbs-White, was a really good season. Sells in goal as well. Milenkovic at centre-back was really good for them as well. Wood kept scoring as well, so a really good season for Forest, but it could have been so much better. 10 places out on this one. One of my worst predictions of the season. 16th, I put Bournemouth, and I've been punished for not backing the Cherries this season. A really good campaign, finishing in 9th place. Yeah, fantastic year. I think Kirkes was going to be on his way. He looked to be a fantastic player for them this season. I really do like that squad for Bournemouth, but not quite good enough on my predictions, which is a shame. Next year, I'll have to back the Cherries, considering their transfer activity. But 7 places out on this one. Not great once again. We're racking up on them points, which we don't want to be doing. 15th place, I put Everton at the start of the season before a ball had been kicked, and they ended up finishing in 13th. Much better from Everton. We expect them to be finishing every season at least, lowest really, 13th for a club like Everton. And hopefully now, going into the new stadium, They're back to their best. We hope at least. What a way to say goodbye to Goodison this season. The game against Liverpool is an obvious standout for them. Winning on the final day, the final league game at Goodison, sorry, against Southampton 2-0. That'll be remembered as well. So sad to see Goodison go, but hopefully more exciting times come in there for Everton at the new stadium. And at least they'll have Premier League football to look forward to in a new stadium. That was the main thing for them. But actually doing better than what I predicted them. 2 places out though, still a pretty good prediction, I have to say. In 14th, I put Wolves to finish there. 2 places out on this one once again. They finished 16th. They're actually in the relegation zone for the early stages of the season until Vito Pereira took over at Molineux. And then he started doing some good things there. Ended up going with the fans to the pub for a pint after each victory, which is, yeah, just fantastic. Why we love the beautiful game. So really nice season for Wolves on the whole. 16th, finished above Tottenham and didn't get relegated. And yeah, that just doesn't quite make sense, does it? You finished above Tottenham, but you only finished in the bottom half. What? We'll have to get onto that in a minute. But not a bad prediction for Wolves here. Next up in 13th, I had Fulham to finish there. Fulham ended up finishing in 11th, midway point. Just about, of course, in the bottom half for Fulham. It was a pretty good season for Fulham, though. I believe they reached their new record of a points tally in the Premier League, which is brilliant stuff for Fulham. Only 2 places out on this prediction as well. We're getting a lot of 2s here, a lot of good predictions. So not too bad here for Fulham. We'll take that all day long. In 12th place, I predicted it to be Brentford. They finished in 10th. Once again, 2 places out on this one. Just 2 places out on the last 4 teams, including this one. Yeah, just didn't want it to happen for me, did it, the Premier League? They wanted to be 2 out on a lot of these. Good prediction yet again. Thomas Frank and Brentford continue to build, although Frank has now been linked with a Tottenham job. And is he going to keep building at Brentford, or is he going to move to a really good opportunity, you have to say, at Tottenham? We'll have to wait and see. But good prediction here by myself, once again, I'd have to say. In 11th, I predicted it to be Brighton, but Brighton actually finished in 8th. Very good season for Brighton. And the new manager, of course, very young, but still got a very good end of the season for them. Just that one result against Forest, that 7-0, which was a dreadful part in the year for Brighton. But apart from that, a really successful season. Finishing 8th in the end as well. 3 places out on this one. Once again, not too bad at all. In 10th place, we had Crystal Palace. However, they finished in 12th. They were not as good as I predicted them to be, but they did add an FA Cup to their ranks this season. Their first major trophy, and I couldn't be happier for the Crystal Palace fans, because what a huge club they are. Well, I wouldn't say huge, but they're a big club in England, and they deserve the FA Cup at long last, because, you know, fair play to them. And a brilliant, not a brilliant season in the Premier League, but a respectful season in the Premier League, finishing 12th in the end, which could have been a whole lot worse. But Mateta in there, Marguihi, of course. It's an exciting team. Henderson between the sticks. Yeah, really exciting. And European football next season for Palace. Cannot wait for that. Although there are some rumours going around that it might not happen, but I'm not too sure, to be honest. So I don't want to spread misinformation, but hopefully it's all sorted for Palace and they get into Europe next season. They deserve to, because they got there legally. So fair and square. Just let them in, UEFA. In 9th place, I put West Ham to finish there. Now, West Ham didn't have a great end to the season, but they did sort of rescue it in the last few weeks. They finished 14th, which means I'm 5 places out on this one. It could have been a whole lot worse. Graham Potter ends up coming in, and now into next season. It's a bit of a gamble, because I think Potter's a great manager, but he needs his players, and it's a tough league, the Premier League, as we know. So it's going to be a big sum for West Ham, and Potter's going to have to get it right in the early months of next year. Otherwise, he won't last there. But not a great season for West Ham, all things considered. We'll have to wait to see what happens next year. Not a great prediction either. 5 out on this one. In 8th place, I backed Aston Villa to have a good season. They had an even better season, finishing in 6th place. Just about missing out on Champions League football. Controversy on the final day about that. And it's a bit of a shame now for Aston Villa, because it was so exciting. They had a good year in the Champions League as well. good year in the Premier League, and hopefully next year they can hit the same heights, if not better, with Aston Villa, of course, next season under Unai Emery. But 2 places out once again on this prediction. Not too bad at all. We'll take that. Next up, I had in 7th place Man United to finish there. Now, Man United didn't finish there. They finished 15th. An awful season for Man United. Of course, Ruben Amorim ends up coming in for the job and hasn't set the world alight. Next year, he really does have to do a lot better with Man United, otherwise he won't last. And Man United, the way the club's going, the only positive thing about Man United this year was the exciting news of the new stadium, but that's about it. Apart from that, Man United, it's all downhill from them. An awful finish for Man United in the Premier League. To finish 15th in the Premier League, Man United we're talking about. Not good enough for them. They have to improve next season. And 8 places out on the prediction. Not great at all. In 6th position, I had Chelsea to finish there under Enzo Maresca. They did better than that. They finished in 4th place. Very good. I did say at the start of the season Chelsea would have a good season, signing so many players, but delivering under Maresca. It took a while for the fans to take to him, but Champions League football back at Chelsea next year, which is deserved. Fair play to them. Chelsea finishing 4th. Good year for them. In 5th place, I predicted it to be Newcastle United, and who finished in 5th? It was indeed Newcastle United. The second correct prediction of the video. We've been so close to so many, but this one is spot on. Newcastle getting into the Champions League places on the final day, of course. Almost dropped out of them completely, but thankfully for them, they just about able to cling on to it and finish in 5th. Good year for Newcastle, winning, of course, the Carabao Cup as well. It's a successful season for Newcastle. Champions League football next season, once again for Newcastle. Cannot wait for them. 4th position, I had Spurs to finish there. I think we could ignore this one if we wanted to. They only finished 17th. It's only 13 points off. Oh, what was I thinking? Awful. But to be fair, no one thought Spurs were going to finish 17th. 17th Spurs, who won the Europa League, will have Champions League football next season. 18th Leicester City get relegated and will be in the Championship next season. What is the league coming to? I mean, Ange said he's always won trophies in his second season. He's done that here as well. Winning the Europa League, 17-year trophy drought ended for Spurs. But in the Premier League, it just wasn't good enough. Now, the link to Marco Silva and Thomas Frank as the 2 top contenders. I think Frank would do well at Tottenham. But Levy, to not back Ange after just winning a trophy, I think it's a little bit unfair. But I think Thomas Frank, if he goes to Tottenham, I think Tottenham will have a good few years and get back to their best. So I think that would be a really, really good appointment for Tottenham, but would also somewhat leave Brentford in a bit of a bad position. But 13 positions out on this prediction, not great whatsoever. But we'll wipe it under the carpet because it is Spurs. Good position. I backed Liverpool to finish there under Arne Slot, and they end up winning the league. What a year it was for Liverpool. I must say though, fair play to Liverpool for winning the league. Great year for them, but there wasn't a good enough competition to push them to their best. Don't think we saw the best of Liverpool throughout this season. A lot of you will disagree with this, probably because they've won the league, but I just don't think they've performed to their best. I don't think we saw the best Liverpool this season. When you win the league, you usually see the team being pushed. Likes of ManCity in the last few years were pushed by Arsenal. But Liverpool this season weren't really pushed by Arsenal, weren't pushed by City or anyone else. So pretty underwhelming on that front, but fair play to Liverpool. Winning the league, 2 places out on my prediction. Pretty good prediction, all things considered. 2nd place, I had Arsenal to finish there. And they did. Arsenal, once again, they just have that 2nd place to their own the last few years, don't they? And once again, our 3rd correct prediction of the video. Not too bad at all, that one. Arsenal, Champions League this year was their main success story. Unable to get past the semi-finals, of course, which was a bit frustrating, but it was against the team that ended up winning the competition, so not too many complaints there. In the Premier League next season, though, under Arteta, I think next season is their big season. They have to next season deliver something big, whether that be a domestic trophy or the Premier League. all eyes are on Arsenal next season, because it looks like they will be signing a striker, will be having a lot of investment in that squad. So next season is Arsenal's year. It has to be, surely. Second place finish, second place predicted. We'll take that every day of the week. And the final one, I predicted Man City once again to win the league. And this year, they finished third. Man City, yeah, it was a dreadful year by their recent standards. No Premier League, no FA Cup, no Carabao Cup, no Champions League. A trophyless season for Man City. When was the last time we said that about the citizens? Has to be a long time ago. But yeah, it just wasn't clicking for Man City this year. Everyone sort of figured them out this year. Listen, we're only 2 points off on the prediction, and Man City did finish third, so we can't be talking about like a complete disaster, but by their recent standards, it wasn't great. But Champions League football yet again for them next year, and no doubt they'll be in the race for the Premier League title next season once again. Well, there we have it. All my predictions there. We ended up having 3 spot on and a score of 68. Let's compare to the previous 5 seasons. This is the 6th season of doing predictions for the Premier League. In the 1920 season, we had a score of 64, 1 correct outcome. 2021 season, a score of 43 with 4 correct predictions. That's our best ever score. What a season that was. 21-22, score of 60, but no correct outcomes, no correct predictions. 22-23, a score of 78 with 2 correct predictions. That is our worst one of the lot. 23-24, a score of 50 with 2 correct, which is our second best. That was a really good year last season. And 24-25 this season, 68 points, 3 correct, our second worst one. But I blame Man United and Tottenham for that awful season. Spurs, the worst one. Forest didn't help me at all this year, nor did Bournemouth. And apart from that, I was, 1 or 2 on all the teams. So not a bad year, really. It's just a few teams really did disappoint this season. Well then, guys, that was me reacting to my 2024-25 Premier League predictions. If you did go on to enjoy, be sure to drop a like and subscribe as always. Let me know your best and worst prediction in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Goodbye.